I'm Miriam Joy, and welcome to my studio. Today we're working on our glue gun spider webs, and these are so much fun. There's so much you can do with them. You can put them on your mirrors, you can put them on windows, you can put them on doors, you can decorate them in any fun fashion you want to. So there's so much to do, so let's get started on this fun project.
For this project, we need a hot temp glue gun, and it's real important because the low temp doesn't work as well. So we want to use our hot temp, and we're going to go ahead and set it up and have it start warming up and getting that glue nice and hot. I am using a Mod Podge silicone pad, and you can purchase these in the Mod Podge section at the craft store, and I really like these because these are see-through and I can put my pattern underneath them. If you don't have that, another thing that you can use is a piece of glass and just spray it with vegetable spray. So those are kind of two options, but to make my basic pattern, I'm just going to start with a piece of paper, and you can make it smaller or bigger, but it just gives us a basic outline pattern, and I'm going to fold it from corner to corner to divide that in half, and then I'm going to do it one more time. So I'm actually going to have 5 spider web sections, I guess is kind of what we want to do. No, I'm not building a paper airplane here. You can add more or you can add less. For this project, I think I actually liked less. So we've got each of our sections. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 3 lines, 5 lines. So the thing you can do, if you can see those underneath that, you can do that, or you can take your ruler and mark these nice and bright so you can see it through there. I'm going to kind of leave that up to you. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark real quick here. And I'm not going to mark the outside ones. I'm just going to mark the inside ones because I think I can see those well enough. And if you have not seen the Spiderweb banner, that's a real cute one done real similar to this. So make sure you check that out as well. So I'm going to put this guy, and I actually would have liked him this way, but you know what? If we did him on a different corner of a mirror, this would be our bottom part, so you do him this way. So it depends on where you want him to go. And if you have like a small mirror, you want to think about that. If you have a big mirror, like your doorway, that would be real fun. So if you want it in this corner, move that up here. If you want it down here, you would trace this side. So now I'm just going to come in, and on this one, I'm just going to make him smaller. I want to see how tall this guy is here. He's going to be that way here. And I want to mark my paper right there so I know where to tie him off here, how far off I want to go on all of these. So like I said, this one I want to do smaller. If you were doing it bigger, you would just keep following that line out as far as you want to do it. That's what I did with my last one. I just took it all the way out and just kept on going. I didn't really kind of stop with it. Just kept it going. So I'm going to line this up again here. But this one we're going to do smaller. So we're just going to start pushing our glue down. And when you get to a point where you need to reload it, just stop it, kind of hold still as you can. And I'm really wobbly on this first one. I get the hang of it as I keep going, so if you even kind of want to stop and start with something different, then do that. get the hang of it. You want these nice and solid and thick. And I found that by staying above it just a little bit, usually they pull nice and thick lines, but you don't want to have thin lines, so don't be pulling on the gun so fast that your wax is getting thick, your glue is getting thick, excuse me. So I'm stopping on these little lines. That's how big I'm going to make this spider web. And like I said, the more you go, the better you're going to get with it. But this is a spider web. It's not supposed to meant to be perfect. So don't think it has to be absolutely perfect. It just needs to be thicker. And if you have a broken line, if we can zoom in and show that right there where I've kind of broken that, while it's still warm, just kind of come in and overlay it. And while it's warm, it'll all kind of just melt together. So that's the reason you want to do it while it is warm. So know that. So on this one, you can either draw the spider webs in if you want to, or you can just go for it. And again, I broke my line there. And we want to arch them. And the arch needs to come up towards the middle of the spider web. Now these have to be all connecting. So that's real important. Now I'm going to put these about an inch and a half apart. And like I said, I'm doing these wider. I like the look of this better, farther apart for the mirrors. And try to keep them all even here. I got that one guy a little bit different here. But you can do them any way you think they need to be. Just use your imagination and your design and however you feel it should be. This one I've got a little bit wider, and I think it's because of the way I folded it, so you may want to fold that different. And you can even do a section at a time and go all the way up and then do them like that. I like to kind of work as I'm going here. So I'm probably going to get 3 more in here. And sometimes if your glue is not melting as fast as you're working, you may need to stop in between and let your glue gun warm up a little bit, and that's okay too. You want to make sure that you're not using a glue gun with a fine tip either. I'm just going to put a couple just right in there. So that is that. We're going to give this just a moment to dry on the edges, and actually those are okay because they are on far enough that we can go ahead and put our curlicues on them. I think this is kind of what gives it that special feel, that kind of spooky elegance. So we're just going to add a curl and just hook it right into that. And because I'm keeping these on the edges where your mirror would go, you don't want them this direction, you'd only want them that side in, and it would have worked a little bit better if I'd made him a little bit straighter, and maybe if you had your paper laying there, that would be better. So I'm going to put a little one there as well. Now you can see I've got a couple of spider webs here and there. It's Halloween, we're doing spider webs, leave them. So that's how I feel about that. So I'm going to go out. Now remember, you've got to measure where you're putting that, so don't make these longer than if you had a mirror or something. Make sure that you allow for these little curly swirls as well. Now I'm not kind of getting these as curled as I want going in, so I'm going to try a little bit harder here. I like that a little bit better. So let's try to get that a little bit better here. And sometimes if you clean the tip of this with a piece of paper, you can use your old dryer sheets too, or a piece of paper to kind of clean that tip to get that nice and fresh. So when you start this next part, that you've got a clean point at the middle. You could even do this section when you're making the lines from the beginning, if you think that would be easier for you. I find that it works easier for me to do it this way. So we want to go this other direction now. And I would go ahead and put spiders and stuff in it, but I'm going to color it first. So I wouldn't want to add them at this time. Otherwise, you could add them at that time. I've done 3 swirls on the middle ones. And then, of course, I've done 2 on the outside. And you can do this usually with a lot less than 1 glue stick, depending on how big you want them. But see, that was a smaller one, and that still ended out really big. So that would be like this corner here or this corner here, and then flip your pattern to do this one or this one. So I'm going to let this dry really, really well, and then I'm going to go outside and I'm going to get a piece of cardboard or paper, and I'm just going to spray paint it. You can buy your spray paint at Walmart. The black one are the cheapest. They're usually less than $1. So that's the fastest way to do it. If you had paint and you wanted to paint them, you could do it as well. The multi-surface acrylic paint would work the best, but this is just so much faster. So I'm going to give that a few minutes. I'm going to spray it. When you're spraying it, make sure that you get each individual line. You can kind of spray it here and there and give it more of a spooky feel. You don't have to do it solid. That's a personal opinion, and I'll leave that up to you. I have gone out and I have sprayed all of this. Now I do have a couple of ones that I should have checked a little bit before, like that guy right there. I should make him a little bit thicker, and you would just do that by gluing him back in. And that is a quick fix, and then he's ready to go. You also could put glitter on him. There's a lot of fun things that you could do with him. Now, to apply him to the mirror or window, I'm just going to use my adhesive spray. You could use whatever kind you want. I found that this was a lot more expensive. I just picked it up at Walmart. And the really nice thing that I did with this, I just sprayed it on the back. I let it kind of dry, so as it wasn't wet, it was sticky, and I applied it right to my mirror. And when I tried to remove it, I don't see anything sticking underneath it. It's nice and clean. So that's what I really liked about that. And then it just sticks right on there. So I really like that. If you had some that got a little bit sticky, I would just try to use your Goo Gone. But this is going to come right off, and there's going to be no mess. So I'm very happy with that. Another thing that would be so cool is if you have a window that you decorate for Halloween, is putting these in all 4 corners. I like to do silhouettes of like trees or owls or something like that. Put your lights behind it. But if you had these in all 4 corners, how awesome would that be? And show up, and you can put your lights, your Halloween lights around the corner, and that would just make an awesome Halloween decoration. But those are real simple, inexpensive, and fun to do.
Wasn't that so much fun? Give us a thumbs up, share our videos so we can continue to bring you new ones. You can always visit us at miriamjoy.com and help support us. Thank you. Have a fun and safe Halloween.
Ha 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 ha.